I wanted to welcome everyone. It's crazy that it's already November. I don't know, it
Yeah,
feels
'cause
like
I
time
had to
flies
do
by
it
faster and
quickly,
faster. But I hope
and
everybody's
it
enjoying
was
the beautiful
signed in
weather
another.
because it's
Yeah.
been beautiful outside. Um, I just wanted to let everyone know that the PTO is going to be hosting the first meet and greet with Dr. Gupta, Dr. Waller, and Mr. Badenhop at Flyboys on November 20th. And it's going to be upstairs from 6:30 to 7:30. I think it'll be a great opportunity for parents in the community to get some time. And also for the people that aren't able to attend the noon Zoom meetings. I'm hoping it'll be a nice turnout. I'm not sure about the first one, but if we do some more moving forward, I think that it'll be a great thing. And then since we are kind of behind, I will just go ahead and move to the superintendent's report with Dr. Good.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are doing well. And Laura, I appreciate you actually saying that. I do think that it may take a couple. So if the first one looks like it's low attendance, I'll agree with you. Let's not give up. Let's just keep trying it. And I think over time it may increase. So with that, I just wanted to go over the some updates that we have across the district. I shared this the last time that I think that we have three goals or three areas or buckets that I think about all the time. So I'm going to take them in buckets. The first one is high student achievement. So I know that back in September, we talked about the U.S. News best high school rankings and with our drop and explained some of that. Since then, we received some other rankings, and it's interesting. We haven't got any press release for these other rankings like on the Oakwood Register, but yet we showed that we're doing a great job. I did write a blog about this a couple of weeks ago, but niche.com, they put out a release of best high schools reporting. We received an overall grade of an A+. We were number 2 in the state on best teachers in Ohio and number 13 in the state on best school districts in Ohio. So that very much shows how well we ranked on that one. Our advanced placement, we received the gold status on our advanced placement school honor roll. What that looks at is the number of students that are getting a 3 or higher on an AP exam. In 2023, this past spring, we received 87% of our students received a score of a 3 or higher. So let me say that again, 3 or higher, 87%. So really good. On the state report card results come out in August. Some of the rankings that we get from that aren't released right away because they're still doing some calculations. So a couple of weeks ago, we received our value added overall rating. Value added looks at the idea of, are our kids making growth? So the idea of not just achievement is we might have students that are coming in and because of the great work our families do at home with students, they're at a reading level or they're at a math level. But this looks at the idea of growth. Are they meeting growth? Are they expected growth outcomes? We received 5 stars. That's the highest rating that we could get. So our overall rating for value added was a 5. Special education, they also did a rating. We got the rating meets requirement. Now, this is like sad because that's the highest rating, meets requirement. Like I want there to be an exceeds, but we met requirement. That is the highest rating for that one. That's based on the 2021-22 data and information. They are changing the way the State Department's changing the metrics on special education with that metric on rating. So they went ahead and also said with the higher standards that they're going to be putting in place, how would we have scored? We would have met requirement, which again is the highest standard. So we look good on our special ed part. There is data behind that. So we're obviously, as you know, we're going through the special ed audit. So we're still looking at those results and putting it in cooperation with the special ed audit to see what we can glean from that and still improve upon our programs. As you know, we got the chance to, we had kind of our junior high performances in band, choir, orchestra last month. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had the high school go through band, choir, and orchestra concerts. I got to attend all 6 of them, and they were phenomenal. Just it was great to see our students performing. We had not just the groups performing, but soloists, and it just knocked our socks off. We've got great students that are working hard in those areas, and it shows. On the athletics end, I'll talk about all the fall season sports that are wrapping up. Boys soccer received the district runner-up and Swivel League champions. Boys and girls golf, they both did qualify for districts. The boys, they won the Swivel League title for the second year in a row. And the girls tennis, they had a great season. They were Swivel champions. Girls cross country, they were district champs for the 5th consecutive year. They regional champs, and then they qualified for states, and they finished 7th at the state level. Delaney Cahill, she's a sophomore, so keep your eye on her, finished 11th overall in the race. Boys cross country followed suit. They were Swivel champs, district champs for the 3rd consecutive year, 3rd in regionals, and they finished 11th overall at the state championship. So much high regard for them. So that's the first bucket, high student achievement. The second one is of safe school environment. I think about the physical and the social emotional health of our students, their wellness. Montgomery County puts out a schools of excellence in prevention. So basically, there's a rating tool that they have to look at schools that want to apply for it. It's very rigorous. All of our schools receive platinum level. That's the highest level for schools of prevention, of how we promote well-being and social emotional supports for our students. What I want to say about that is I believe, and Dr. Waller and Mr. Badenhop were both there at the awards ceremony. I think there were only 2 districts in Montgomery County that received all schools getting platinum level. So other school districts may have gotten 1 school or multiple schools, but not, and maybe the platinum level or maybe the gold level, but only 2 districts total were at the platinum level for all schools. So I thought that was tremendous and a great feather in our cap of how we support our kids. Veterans Day is around the corner. It's tomorrow, of how we're going to celebrate our veterans. I know that I'll be starting off the morning at the elementary level and hitting elementary schools. Lang will be in the afternoon. I'll let Mr. Badenhop share about what's going to be happening at the junior high because I know he's got some activities planned for that. And then finally, the efficient, effective operations. I would go and be remiss not to say that I'm incredibly pleased that we were able to pass our levy this past Tuesday. Much appreciation for the levy committee that provide information, our Board of Education and Treasurer that put out factual information. So what that means is our operating levy, we have an additional $2.1 million per year that we'll receive to maintain our essentials with staffing, instructional materials, and enriching academic student programs. And then on the permanent improvement levy side, about $373,000 that will be generated annually to help with facilities, enhancing technology, and strengthening our security. So we'll continue the great work from that. We'll continue to communicate that. We've learned a lot of things of how we can be more transparent and communicate with people and our community members along the way, not just waiting until about August before a levy cycle. And so we had a great, rich conversation in our board work session last night. Like our website, for example, we've got levy factual information on our website. We're going to keep that on the website. I created some videos. I'm going to continue to create videos throughout the year, and we'll be putting out mailers, not just because if you think about it, if we just put things through email, our parents will receive it, but not the community members. We have about 60% of our community are empty nesters. And so making sure we continue to promote ongoing transparent communication as we go along. And then the last where I want to end, I guess I got 2 more, but the next to last one is we're in a partnership with Montgomery County and the Dayton Foundation. And through that foundation, I learned this. I don't get to claim any of this. This is kind of just cool that we were able to be a part of it. But we've received around $60,000 in scholarships through the Dayton Foundation for our students that went directly to students. In 2020, we had 17 awards that were given that equated to $17,000 in that 1 year. In 2021, we had 3 awards at $15,000. So that's kind of odd that there were 17 awards at $17,000, 3 awards the next year at $15,000. So less kids, but they got more out of it. In 2022, there were 2 awards for $5,500. So we saw a drastic decrease from that 2020 year. But in 2023, we had 4 awards at the $20,000 mark. So like I said, great partnerships. I know that there's lots of scholarships that we will be giving out in the spring with partnerships that we have. But I just thought that was something worth noting. We have 2 open searches right now. I guess 1 open search at the district level, our Director of Community Relations, Tracy Hale's position. We've got a community-wide interview that's going to happen on Tuesday. We've got 4 candidates that we'll be looking at. Each come from different backgrounds and experiences. So that'll be interesting to see kind of, what positives and feedback that we get from the community on that. We did fill last night officially our Director of Alumni position, Lauren Gentry, who is a Oakwood graduate. She'll start the Monday after Thanksgiving, and so lives in the community. And so we're excited to have her, and we'll onboard her, and we're expecting great things as she transitions into that role. So with that, I'll pause and see if there are any questions, and then turn it back over to Laura. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of great information. Okay, the next up is the high school principals report from Dr. Waller.
Thank you, Laura. And I want to thank Laura and the PTO for helping sponsor our speaker we had a couple of weeks ago. We had Chris Singleton come in and talk to all the students 7 through 12 here. And I know Tim and I both wrote about him in our newsletter, but he was in South Carolina when they had the shooting at the church. His mother was killed there, and he was a minor league baseball player, and really just had a good message of forgiveness and hope, and talking to the students about 10% of your how tall you are, color of your skin. You can't control that, but you can control the other 90%, and treat each other with respect, and hopefully get to know each other and know each other's stories, so that they can continue to support each other. So he had a really great message. So thank you very much for supporting us in that. We finished up Real Money, Real World, which is really a great opportunity and partnership we have with the Ohio State University, providing our students with an opportunity to kind of learn about what's it take to survive, outside of moving out of your parents' house and handling your own finances. And we did activities throughout that month of October with advisory on financial literacy, and then kind of had a culminating activity with Real Money, Real World, which was, we had community members and business people, moms, dads come in, and the kids had to go around to different stations. And you might be told that you have a wife and 4 kids, or you might be told that you're on food stamps, and here's how, and then they have to go around and manage getting insurance and health insurance and car insurance and do all those different things. So it was fun to see the kids participate. So all of our sophomores participated in that activity, and they'll all get a half credit of credit on their transcript for financial literacy, which is a state requirement. And we're doing that through our Credit Flex program. So I think that's great. A couple other things, as Dr. Gupta shared, Veterans Day tomorrow, junior high and high school will have an opportunity for students that are in military families or any staff in military families to come down and have lunch. And this is all part of the elementaries are already Purple Star schools, and the junior high and high schools also working to, and so is Lang, working to become a Purple Star school, which basically says that, hey, we're here to support military families. We're recognized by the Department of Education as doing that. And we do many of these things already, but we just want to make sure that we're learning as much as we can about that process and applying to be a Purple Star school, which we will apply for in December. And that's something that Dr. Gupta really kind of required us to do. I think it's a great thing. And as we learn about it, I'm really glad that we're moving forward with that. We have Freshman Challenge coming up on November 21st. And that is where we'll kind of take what we did in orientation and again, get their freshmen together. They'll spend the day. Bridget Fiore will be running the ship on that, and basically giving our freshmen an opportunity to get to know each other, do some team building, do some soul searching, and then have a culminating activity at the end of the day. And we do this really to foster a positive culture in our school and to kind of reinforce our positive culture and maybe help our kids that it once again comes down to getting to know each other. And the more we know about each other, the better chance we'll have of treating each other with respect and kindly. So that is coming up on November 21st, and they'll be doing some things in advisory leading up to those activities as well. So I think that's it that I was going to talk about. Kelly Owens is in my office too. So just checking with her to make sure I didn't miss anything. I know she's going to be talking about some things as well. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, thank you. I know I heard positive feedback, definitely about the speaker, from parents and from kids. I mean, even my own, he came home and was talking about it. So, I think that was really good for the community and for the kids. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, next up is, the junior high principals report with Mr. Badenhop.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. I'll just keep building from there. I think it's awesome that we can partner with the PTO for opportunities like that for our students, because even though in a typical school day, kids might come here and they might hear a lot of different people talk for a long period of time, when it's kind of a new person, a new perspective and a different setting, I think it just hits differently for them. And that's kind of our hope when we have opportunities like that, to make sure it's something that really resonates with our kids and is worth the time that we're missing from what they'd usually get in instruction. And I feel like this was definitely worth it when I saw the participation during the event, and then also the questions kids had after. It was kind of hard for Mr. Singleton to get out of the auditorium at the end of the day, because there were a lot of kids who, even after the bell rang, it's like, hey, you can leave. And I know we have a few minutes until the end of the day, but you can go. Well, they didn't. They stuck around and they had questions, and they kind of waited in line to get selfies with him or to ask him questions and things like that. So thank you. That was a great opportunity for our kids. Since I think we already hit some of the different activities that have happened since our last meeting, one he didn't mention, but was a bit of an adventure, was our first junior high dance of the year. We have new advisors this year in Jess Waldtower and Megan Joseph, and it was their first go round of leading a junior high dance, but also with the proximity to Halloween, we did a costume, like you're allowed to wear costumes as long as it doesn't obscure your face. And that probably shifted what behavior would usually look like a little bit, at least. And we learned some things that we can use next time we have a costume kind of a party. But I think the kids had a great time. Our turnout was fantastic. And student council has also kind of turned into, like, they're good little fundraisers too. So they're kind of looking for those opportunities of how they can support each other, but also teachers and the other things that we do throughout the day at the junior high. Paul mentioned a little bit about our event for tomorrow. I'll share just a little bit more. I think this is probably a thing that we should have been doing before, and now it's been brought to our attention. So we're jumping in with the Purple Star application. And it's only been a week or a week and a half since we thought up the idea of, hey, we could do an event around the timing of Veterans Day during the month of the military family and kind of do something as a starting point to support our students. So I think we're going in with the expectation this probably isn't going to be perfect. This probably isn't going to be we get 100% turnout or everyone says, wow, that was fantastic. But our goal is to honor the kids who are in military families, to honor the staff members who are veterans, and also to try and get some information from them about the types of just common sense daily things we could do that would be a better support to students. You might be surprised to know that somewhere in the neighborhood of 15% of our junior high students are in military connected families. The percentage is a little bit lower in high school, but the reason for that might be that once you've retired from military, you no longer count as military connected, which is a little silly, but that's how the definition works. So we're looking for how can we honor our students, and then what other things can we kind of build into our world that, an example I gave today in cabinet, we already, when students move in throughout the year, assign them a lumberjack leader to walk around with them from class to class and kind of orient them to the building. But couldn't we find someone who's in a military connected family when it's a military student moving in who can give that other lens too of, hey, I've been through this and I've moved 6 times, or I also have been to that base, where there's a little bit more of a natural connection and just some of those things that we haven't thought about before. And it's a new opportunity to do that. So hopefully tomorrow's event is a good kickoff for that, and also gives us good feedback for things that we can do in the future that'll be just a better support for our students and families. And then I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but you might have heard about it at home. I think we might have talked about it at the beginning of the year, but with the Start with Hello and Say Something curricula, that the state has mandated schools do activities around kind of engaging each other and building community with students, but then also identifying warning signs of suicide and supporting each other so that that doesn't happen. Our advisory yesterday was a longer advisory so that we could show the Sandy Hook Promise video and kind of debrief with our advisory groups around just navigating the topic of suicide. We have a lot more supports than we would have had even 5 years ago. Obviously, Sandy Hook was not a suicide event. It was a different kind of a Say Something, but just the idea that we need to monitor each other. And if we build better community and make sure everybody's included in that, then we have a better chance of helping each person to have strong mental health. And then when things aren't quite right, speak up, not to sit on that, but to inform a teacher or a parent or someone else who will let us intervene before it's too late. There were some students who accessed the Wellness Center during that time, but we had that support available and made that known to students where the topic might be a little bit heavy, in particular with the shooting connection. And then with some of our families having been in the Lewiston, Maine kind of area, that was something that we were cognizant of coming in. But that's just a nice thing that students, I think by now know there is a wellness center and where to go and what to expect. So that if they need to access that, it's not a stigmatized thing. It's just, hey, we'll get you the support that you need and help hopefully transition you back into the school day from there. But the feedback I've gotten, at least initially, is that conversation, though a hard one, went well. And hopefully it's something that we can continue to reinforce with our students throughout the year. So are there any other questions regarding that or anything else that I spoke about? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we have the staff liaisons report from Mrs. Owens.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. And man, this weather is awesome. It has been, I can't believe it's November and it's getting a little chillier now. Just want to also reiterate a little bit about the Say Something Save Act. During PD Day on Monday, all the staff went through some training and looking at what the students were going to be going through and having us to, recommit or commit to an even deeper level to be one of those trusted adults that the students can come talk to. And you'll see that some of us have signs on our doors. I'm a trusted adult because like mine says, I care about you and your well-being, and different sayings that teachers want to get that information out. So the PD Day on Monday was all about that mental health aspect. And back in October, Bridget Fiore, and I know there were a lot of parents, maybe even some of you attended that Spotlight to Shine a Light on Mental Health at the UD Arena, that town hall with Mark and Ken Holinsky and Coach Grant and his wife, Chris. And Bridget and I came away, it was really hard to hear the stories, but we came away because they had a really nice panel, and we came away with some ideas for different things we can do specifically for within the suicide prevention realm, and some names of some resources that we can hopefully tap into. But it was a really worthwhile event. And I know, like I said, I saw a lot of parents, Oakwood parents in the crowd. So I thought that was a really nice thing that UD brought together, and applaud the courage of Coach Grant and his wife, Chris, for sharing. It was the first time they had shared since they had lost their daughter, Jada, to suicide last year. Bridget and I talked about this, Bridget Fiore is a guidance intern, and she is working, had come up with the idea, because if you know Bridget, she's like the Energizer Bunny. She just always has a lot of great ideas and follow through. So we were talking one day, and I think it was right after the Spotlight to Shine a Light, about we have so many students in this building who have lost a parent or some type of relative, or are dealing with grief in some way. So Bridget is working to create a grief group, and she's going to be meeting with one of our seniors tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be in that meeting too, but we're going to be meeting with one of the seniors who we talked to him. He had just lost a parent earlier this year, and he really likes the idea of being able to bring all of these students together and to help the kids be able to feel like they're not alone and that they're supported and the different ways that they grieve, and to be able to tell us how best to support them. So that's on the horizon. We are looking at, and we are going to be using a thing called U-Science. It's a career guidance for students using aptitudes. We have some programming in the Naviance program that we're using currently in the junior high and high school. We are looking at possibly changing, moving away from Naviance a little bit. Weren't real excited about some of the interest surveys and wanted to get a little bit more into the aptitudes, and then how those come in with the interests and how students can gain a better understanding of different careers that are out there. So Adam Wessner has seen the U-Science program and is really excited about it. It's basically using brain games to figure out aptitude to careers versus just interest. And it actually, again, Bridget was looking at it too, and said that it has connections to local jobs and majors and different colleges. And we have that in Naviance, but we just felt this was maybe a little bit more, dives a little deeper in, and is maybe a little more realistic with working with those aptitudes versus just the interests. And we would do some of these different interest surveys, and we'd have a kiddo do it in freshman year, then they would look at the results and then they'd revisit them in sophomore year and they go, well, I don't know why that came up. And we really couldn't say why it came up either. It's just the way they were answering those questions. So U-Science has been in conjunction working on that with Sinclair and through the Montgomery County ESC. So that's on the horizon as well. And we are hoping that we can maybe do that prior to career tech presentations. We are doing the career tech presentations for our sophomores. That'll be right after, I think the presentations will either be right before or right after the holiday break. And those are going to be video presentations from Fairmont and Centerville to highlight the programs that are available at both of those schools in our career tech programs. And then giving the students some other ideas, again, if we can get the U-Science up and running with the sophomores prior to that, and giving them a little bit more guidance if they're wanting to look at maybe digital design. Maybe that's something that they are showing an aptitude for. So trying to work that in with our sophomores specifically when they're thinking about their junior and senior year. I think I've mentioned this before. We have about 40, maybe 38 kids who spend half their day at Fairmont or Centerville participating in career tech programs, and some really cool things that they're doing. And so we're hoping to kind of marry all of that together. Excuse me. October is a huge month for high school counselors. It is a really, for lack of a better way to say, it's kind of hell month, because there's just so much going on in preparation for November 1 deadlines. If you are not quite at that level, that point yet, if you're junior high kids, yeah, deadlines for college applications is what I'm referring to. So just giving you a few numbers here, and we were busy. Our kids were busy. I think it was on November 1st, I checked the stats, and we had submitted 1,103 transcripts for our students to apply to college. So I have a couple students who applied to 16 colleges. So that's 16 for that kiddo, 16 for the other kiddo. That's how we get those numbers. As of today, we are up to 1,119. So the biggest bulk of it is behind us, but there are still some November 15th deadlines and still some December 1st deadlines. So again, and if you're wondering, if you're thinking, wow, how many kids do we have? We have 169 seniors, and we processed 1,103. Now compared to, so we're still going, compared to past years, 2021, we submitted 915 total, 2022, 1,062 total, And last year, 1,181. And all the class sizes were right around 167, 169. And we had a fairly large class last year, 179. Our most popular college that our kids are applying to this year so far is back on top is OSU. UC had dethroned OSU for a few years, but it's OSU, followed by UC, and a tie for third, Miami and the University of Dayton, OU and Wright State. And out of school colleges, our top was the University of Kentucky, followed by Purdue, University of South Carolina, University of Michigan, and Alabama. And I'm sorry to the OSU fans and alumni that I even said that college up north, but it's a pretty popular college for our kids. So that's the rundown on all of that so far. We'll have more numbers later, but I just thought you all might find that interesting, or maybe not, I don't know. But we just wanted to update you on what we've been up to in the guidance office. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Thanks so much for the time.
Oh yeah, thank you. I do have one question. The youth science, is it going to start when they're freshmen?
Well, I think I don't know that we have it set completely yet. I think we're going to try to get it worked out for the sophomores this year. Adam,
Okay.
in a conversation, kind of an informal conversation, I haven't had a chance to bring Dr. Waller up to speed on yet. Adam had a lot of really good ideas about how to do that youth science with, maybe the freshmen, during times when other grades are testing. So we don't know exactly how we're going to roll all that out, but we will definitely have a plan here soon. But I know that we'd really like to roll it out with our sophomores prior to those career tech presentations so that they have maybe a little bit more of a foundation when they're looking at.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, next up we have our treasurer's report and store rewards from Theo Rich.
Hi, I have my Ohio State sweatshirt on. Okay, two quick things. Yeah.
Cracks me up though, the kids who
Andrew
apply-
is so happy there, but that's another story. So two quick things before I do the budget report. I want to just say thank you for organizing those Wednesday meetings at lunchtime. Lily has really enjoyed being a part of those, and I heard all about what county commissioners do. And I mean, what was our dinner conversation last night? So I hope there's some more speakers like that. So it's been a great conversation in our household. And then Dr. Waller, my dad is the class of 1959, and man, oh boy, I was helping my parents on Friday night and they had all the guys over, and I hear you had an earful of stories. So thanks for entertaining the guys.
It was fun. I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah, my dad was watching the tennis in Mason for Lily, so he missed the tour, but maybe I will get him in there one day. Okay, so on to the business of the budget. Right now, as of today, we have $21,455 in the bank. And if we're going to probably hit everything that we need to spend, we have about $8,000 left to of budgeted items. So we, some of the things, I generally would give the budget to Tracy Hale. If anybody needs a copy of what I'm referencing, I can send it to you, but I'll just hit some high points, but I'm happy to send this out. I'm going to guess I send a check to Jill for the speaker, the $1,500. Is that who I need to send it to? Okay, thumbs up. I'll do that today and send it in with Lily. And so that would approximately leave us about $12,000 of cushion for next year. And we kind of came in this year with a little more cushion. And unfortunately, our membership has been, we're about 3,000 shy on our membership this year. And so we'll discuss that in a few minutes. But we will realize some Dorothy Lane Market money in Kroger. So if you haven't signed up already, please, the links are out there on the PTO website on how to sign up for the programs. It's click, click, click. So far, and I know Laura's going to talk a little bit more about the teacher grants, and it looks like Nate Thompson wrote a nice note in our chat here. But teacher grants, staff fall luncheon, and the directory fees equate to about $6,500, which is about 40% of our budget. So we are working our way through the rest of the year. Are there any questions? I don't see anything on the budget like that's coming up that I would need to like write checks for, except the speaker check. But if there are any questions about the budget, I'm happy to send this to you directly or discuss offline as well.
Yeah, not that anybody can replace Tracy, but if you want, I can drop the link to the PTO budget in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't want you all to see my screen or anything, so I'll do that. I'll
I can do
email,
that.
or I can email you right now and I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so don't look at me. I'm gonna mute myself. That's it for me though. Budget check.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, for the teachers grants, Jennifer Oni was not able to attend, so I am just going to read off what we have done so far. We so far have granted $1,000 to Brianna Villarreal for Awakening Wonder and Cultivating Book Love to create a cozy space for the students to read. We have done $2,000 to Nate Thompson for the Gateway STEM, and which was also partial funding for 3D printers, and the school bought the rest of the materials. And $12.99 to Kelsey Jackson for long range lens for students to use grabbing photos for the yearbook. There is going to be some money left over to offer more grants in the winter cycle, which Emma will speak about next. And we always appreciate collaborating with the Oakwood Fine Arts Boosters and the Oakwood Schools Foundation. So yeah, we've done a lot so far. It's been fun. Emma?
Okay, yeah, that's great. So thank you. So as far as the Schools Foundation update, just to tag on to what Laura was just mentioning, we collaborated with all of the different buildings to give out grants, including the PTO, but it's exciting this year. We were able to give out grants to Lang, to the preschool even, and then Harmon Smith, and then the junior high and high school. So it's nice that we were able to support all the buildings, which is of course our mission. We will be opening up the next round of grants December 1st or so, around that time, and closing them around January 15th is our plan. So we will be starting to communicate with the teachers here in the next couple of weeks. Other OSF updates, Comeback Lumberjacks was on September 29th. It was a huge success. We had between 350 and 400 attendees. We don't know for sure because they don't do a great job of registering, and they're kind of in and out and having fun, and we love it. It's just such a fun event to see all of our alums back and connecting with each other. And then we had the tours the next day. Thank you, Dr. Waller, Dr. Gupta, other folks who showed up and did those tours. We had a great group of alums come back for those as well. And I think they love getting into the building and seeing how it's maintained its tradition, but then also been updated in all the right ways. So that was a success. As far as programs coming up, we have our Philanthropy 101, which is run through our Wall Street 101 class. And so the second half of that class is visiting charities. And so our students will be, I know the 5 charities have been selected by the students this year, and students will be going and they'll be hearing from the charities in class, and then they're going to visit the charities. And then they're giving a presentation as their final exam. And so there will be funds supported, run through the school foundation from donors, and the winning team will receive the money to be able to give to their charity. So that's always a really, really great thing for students. And then we will be kicking off our entrepreneurship competition. Dr. Waller, I'll connect with you on that so that we can start putting a communication out there. to students, right, to get them up and going. And I'd love to come into the school one day under the clock, like at lunch, and connect with them about that and hand out paperwork and all that. So we'll do that like in years past.
Great.
Okay, great. So that is the opportunity for any high school student to shadow a local business owner, an entrepreneur, really anyone, and just spread the word, encourage them to do that. They need to shadow the entrepreneur for about a half a day and then write a paper. And last year we had 27 students involved. We'd love to get that, if not more. That'll kick off here, hopefully next week is the goal, and they need to have their papers submitted by the end of January. So they have a couple of months there to shadow their entrepreneurs. So that's a great program run through the school foundation. Someone mentioned scholarships. Of course, the seniors are being educated about different scholarships run through the schools foundation. I know Mrs. Owens and her team, they do an awesome job letting the seniors know about that. Flourish is happening. You can see the building changing almost every day. It's really exciting. Course, still welcoming donations for that. The door has not closed. If you want to donate, you know someone who wants to, spread the word on that. And then the Dugout Club is the group that is raising money for the baseball field. So that is still up and going. And they are having some good success there. As always, if anyone would like to be involved in the Schools Foundation, you are welcome to join. Just reach out. We'd love to have you. And I think that is, let me look and see. Yeah, I think that's it. The only other thing I was going to say is, Mrs. Owens, I am familiar with U-Science because I've used it with my students and I've done the test before.
Oh, cool.
And it's great. I've done the brain games and they're fun. So if you all want to connect at any point, let me know. I think it's a wonderful, great tool to use with students.
Absolutely. Thank you for offering that.
Yes.
I also want to, we got two of us in here. I also want to tag on to what you said, Emma, about the scholarships. I should have said something earlier. I apologize, but I'm so glad you mentioned that. We will be rolling those out right before Christmas break, because I think they open December 16th. And thank you to the foundation for the generosity, for the work you do, securing those scholarships that benefit our students so greatly as they head off to college. So, and I'm actually going today to a meeting for the Dayton Montgomery County Scholarship. That is a total need-based scholarship. But as Emma mentioned, we reach out to the kids every way, to the point of even handing them a paper. Here are the scholarships. We hand them papers. We send them emails, announcements. We include the parents. So that scholarship season is coming up as we kind of close out a little bit of the college application season. That scholarship season will be opening up, and we'll be getting those out there right before we head off for holiday break. So thanks, Emma, for mentioning that.
Oh yeah, that's great. I know you all, you're always juggling a lot. I hear you on those November 1st deadlines. I'm still digging out of a hole myself after all the essay review. Yeah, so that's it. Dr. Gupta put the, yes, thank you, 2024 date, mark your calendar, homecoming game, September 20th. And that will be the night of Comeback Lumberjacks and then all the other festivities. So anyone have any questions about the school foundation? No. Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on. I know we're on a time, it's getting close on time, to the in and no questions. For the first one, does the administration have ideas for boosting membership and fundraising? Because we were down this year, we were bouncing around ideas at our meeting, trying to maybe think of some new ways to help boost membership. And so we wanted to also put it out to all of you to see if you had any ideas. And if so, maybe you could email, or we could have a side meeting at some point. Just anything you could think of that would be helpful, because yeah, like $3,000 is a lot. But I think that, I mean, we'll make some of that up, but I like any new and fresh ideas would be very welcome. And then the next one, what can we do about the locked doors at the high school during evening hours? I think some of it is the confusion of which doors are open and which doors are locked. And for certain events, certain things are, you would think that they would be open, but they are locked. And if there was maybe an easier way to communicate with all the parents on where they should come in for certain events.
And I'm gonna jump in first because I have a 1 o'clock meeting and I hear them out in the office there. I think definitely we're open to any ideas on fundraising. My suggestion is that I think sometimes when people have a kind of a tangible thing they know they're fundraising for, then they're more likely to connect with that both on the donor side and the fundraising side. And I'll give the example of, several years back, I think the PTO at the time just had some extra funds, but you might be familiar with pavering the PTO patio. And that's become just an awesome student space for students to eat lunch, or sometimes classes go out there and it's calm and quiet, but it's outside. And that's a really neat opportunity when we have things like that people can kind of rally around a little bit. In terms of the different things we can do around fundraising, I think we've been pretty fortunate and thankful to have a PTO that, just the membership sales alone have been able to kind of carry the day a lot of times. But if we want to do things beyond that, then I think it's just a matter of kind of identifying, well, what are the things we're fundraising for? And we can always come up with our list of 20 things for that, and depending on how many zeros and that sort of thing. But there are a lot of great opportunities to connect kids with kind of updated spaces or new programs or materials. And I think the more we can communicate with you about, here's the thing we'd like to do, probably the easier that makes it for the PTO also. And that can be simple things like, Smith had a bake sale to benefit a student in Pause for Ability just the other day. It can be complicated things if you want to run a dance sometime. Anybody? Junior high? No. Okay, well, maybe not. We can do a lot of different things though. And I think just making it something that's fun for the PTO and fun for students, it's going to bring families in. And then I think it makes it easier on the fundraising side. For the doors, I'm not as familiar with the direct concern. I know that every week we have a meeting where we kind of plan for the events of the week and which doors need to be open and which ones don't need to be open. We do try to minimize how many doors are open for security reasons. So typically we're going to have the one by the junior high office open because it's accessible. And if you're in a wheelchair or you have mobility needs, you can get in without climbing stairs. You can take the elevator up and get kind of anywhere in the building that way. But if there are suggestions around, hey, if we had just this one extra door open, it would make things a lot easier for community members, we can do that. Or if it's a matter of communicating better about, well, these are the ones that are open, so please use those, we can do that too. But then I'm going to hop off for my 1 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone else, thank you very much. If anyone else had anything to add.
Now, I would just say, as far as the doors go, I think that is confusing when there's a lot of doors and then you got to go up to one door and it's locked and you don't know which door to go in. Like, we know which door we're opening, but how can we let people know when they come up which door to go to? So there might be some things we can do with signs and things like that could be helpful. So that could be something we can look at.
Or maybe even an email out, like letting parents know where to go. I'm not, like which one. I think that would be helpful, because I know it has been a while, but I have assumed in the past that a certain door would be open and it was not. And then I worked my way down the line. So I found one, or somebody let me in.
I'm trying to remember what was the specifics. So was it at the open house they were locked and people kept trying to get in?
I think so.
Okay. I remember someone mentioning something to one of us about that. And it was, I think during the open house, right? Maybe Elizabeth remembers, I don't know, but.
Yeah, they were just like at the open house. They didn't unlock the front doors, and then someone finally came and locked one front door. So then we were watching all these parents come up and just like pull on all three doors until they finally found the one that was open. And we were just like, I don't understand. It'd just be easier just to open everything, I think, for certain events, maybe just, and if there's an
Yeah,
event happening in the auditorium, we'd assume those ones would be open.
Usually for open house, we just open all the doors. So that probably, for whatever reason, some reason that didn't happen that night, it sounds like.
Thank you. Anyone else before we jump off?
I would be remiss, just the question about membership and things like that. It's difficult. I mean, I think that's national. I don't think it's specific and unique to Oakwood. Not that you shouldn't ask the question and reflect on ways to get better, but also take yourselves off the hook of, what are we not doing right or something? Don't feel that way at all. I do think that kind of similar to how Tim said it with the fundraising is people maybe, we found this out at the national level with conferences. People don't want to come to general conferences anymore. They want to come to specifics, the title of the specific workshop, and then they'll come to that sort of thing because it resonates with them. So the same thing holds true with like PTO. We may not be able to grow numbers that way, but what you might be saying is can we get a group of parents that are involved and want to help uplift this certain thing? And I think if you kind of looking for those pockets, that are, I always use the word chief warriors. And at first somebody thought I meant like somebody who's worrying, and I meant warriors, like, but both works out, I guess. But I think that you definitely want, like, I think it's okay. Number one is take yourself off the hook, but maybe it's just kind of like, can I get a specific group that's only going to come together because they're passionate about uplifting this certain thing, and know that they may drop off after that. And that's okay too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the tangible idea is a really good one. And if we can find a way to better communicate maybe with teachers and what people actually like, what they need. I do think, we do live in a community where they will rally behind things.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Who's passionate about the, like, and when I say conferences, it's the world, right? Like we all broke up with our cable. Now we want a la carte Netflix. We want it on demand. We want to pick and choose our channels. Well, it's the same thing. So you might be, in a place to say, we need to rally around performing arts, or we want to rally around athletics. We want to rally around parent teacher conference night. And then, and you may have to just kind of and people have this nice tight, you're only expected to work and work on this project for this time and this time, and then you're allowed to get off, like you don't have to stay on forever. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for attending, and we hopefully will see you at the meet and greet on the 20th. And we can get together. I will email you about specifics too after that. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.